Nice ambush. Gordon awake? Classic.
Girl, Amphibia is one heck of a fantasy adventure quest, huh? But, definitely something. It's definitely like a fantasy adventure video game Marcy would like to experience and get to experience. He likes Marcy likes games like Legend of Zelda or Great Shadow Legends. Oh yeah, before I start this video, I just want to make some corrections from yesterday's video. Well, you see, first of all, I was mistaken about Saffron Henderson. It's actually Nicole Booma who voices Blossom in the English dub of Powerpuff Girls. When the CW Powerpuff series flops, Cartoon Network will allow me and Amphibia Kraken to do a No Way Home style cast of multiple casting amalgamations where the Powerpuff Girls and the Rowdy Rough Boys involve the original Powerpuff Girls, so we could finally have the full hour 16:9 special he wanted after the Powerpuff Girls Road was restricted to 22 minutes instead of 45. Yeah. So here's who everyone would be, okay? Yeah, the three Blossoms would be, we got all the cast together, mixing together the American cast from the 1990 and 2016 series and Vancouver cast from the English dub of the anime. If I got to do a No Way Home thing with the Powerpuff Girls, which would not only, have some nice jokes and references about, some of the most famous moments of either of the three shows, or some of their best moments, or finding good ways in the plot to right the wrongs of songs that we didn't like. Maybe I could redeem the 2016 Power Girls in the way that, I can redeem the Amazing Spider-Man. Sorry, I think it's stronger than me. Yeah, so if I did get to do the Power Girls No Way Home with all three animated Powerpuff Girls series together, the three Blossoms would be. The three Blossoms would be Kathy Caffadini, Nicole Booma, and Amanda Layton. The three Bubbleses would be Tara Strong, Marika Hendrikse, and Kristen Lee. The three Buttercups would be Elizabeth Daly, Kelly Metzger, and Natalie Palamides. And the three Princess Morbuxes would be Jennifer Hale, Kelly Sheridan, and Haley Mancini. Okay, now the three Rowdy Rough Boy. Okay, now in the original Powerpuff Girls, the three Rowdy Rough Boys voices are Bob Paulson plays Rick and Boomer, and Roger Jackson, who also does Mojo Jojo's voice, he plays Butch. And while the three of them do appear in new Powerpuff Girls series, none of them got to have any lines, so I guess I just have to assume that maybe the new Rowdy Rough voices, either the new 2016 Rowdy Rough voices, either the new 2016 Rowdy Rough Boy voices would be the same as the original 1980 voices, or they would have gotten just gotten a new, younger trio of boys who sound like them within the same age range of the four new girls who played the three Powerpuff Girls and Princess Morbucks. And for Amphibia, when I mentioned the return of the Moss Man from Molly and Anne and the Sleepover Randall Sleepovers in the beginning of the end, when Wally was happy to prove to the rest of Woods residents that the Mossman he and Anne were gawking about turned out to be real. Yeah, I also wanted to mention another minor plot point from season 1 that resurfaces in season 3 is Jeremy the Beetle. You know, Jeremy the Beetle he's a new friend that Hop Hop. He was a new friend that Hop Hop made while he was walking out in his lonesome in the Portwood Cemetery. This is an amusing tombstone. Slippy, he slipped. Yeah, Hop Hop was alone because Sprig Planter wanted to run the Planter family farm without him, and Sprig versus Hop Hop. Of course, eventually, Sprig lets him return to the. Sprig lets him, but then Sprig lets Hop Hop return to the farm and continue to run the Planter farm his way. But at least read their suggestions before he burns them. But by the end, but of course Hop Hop kept around his beetle friends after his return, and we saw Jeremy again in helping Hop Hop in Hop Popular, and this is the big one. Children of the Spore. Yeah. So about a year later, about a year after the events of Children of the Spore, Hop Hop was scared to see that Jeremy the Beetle became the new host for Apothecary Gary. By the way, the actual name of the original host for Apothecary Gary is Lori, the frog from whom Bessie removed that mushroom, who was Gary's host for most of the episode. Yeah, I wasn't sure what happened, but I'm glad we finally got to see Apothecary Gary with Jeremy the Beetle again in The Root of Evil, and we came back to that. Still really like to know what the deal is with those fluorescent floating light slugs, jellyfish from SeaWorld mostly builders. I've really exploring on these 2 huge spin-off episodes in 5 years. If we remind of that. Okay, but enough of that. After 5 minutes of me rambling about the corrections, it's time to get to the main subject of our video: dating season. Yeah, dating season is I thought dating season was a really strange episode of Amphibia because because it began with Sprig, and because it's about Sprig, and it was really strange. I don't know, the execution of this, I had a good concept, but the execution of this was really strange to me because I know that the really strange thing about dating season is, the whole episode is about how Sprig and Ivy. The whole episode is about how Sprig and Ivy are just friends who don't really want to date each other, and you're in trouble when your deranged infant polyplanet becomes a waste of reason. If Sprig and Ivy don't really want to date each other, then Polly calls out Felicia, Hop Hop, and Ann on their nonsense. But then Ivy and they apologize to Ivy and Sprig for trying to set them up, but at the end they still somehow fall. But somehow they still fall in love at the end, and Anne's crazy, silly teen romance magazine turned out to be right in the case of Ivy and Sprig. But that Ivy and Sprig were the 2/3, that Ivy and Sprig were within the 2/3 of romantic couples who start out as just friends. Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't mind settling down in a quiet swamp like this.
I don't think Lady Olivia and General Gion, I don't think they've ever, I mean, they know they fight together, they're allies, partners, they're colleagues, but I never really thought of, I don't really even think Olivia and Gion are even just friends. I thought they were just colleagues. So either they're either 1/3 of the romantic pairings who don't start out as just friends, or the Olivia and Yunnan shippers who think that they're a canon romantic pairing are seeing certain details aren't really there. I mean, I paid close attention to their final scenes in The Hardest Thing. 10 years in the future, they weren't wearing any wedding dresses. I think they didn't have any wedding rings. They didn't even blush at each other like that one time when Anne blushed at Marcy and New Wartwood, or when Sasha blushed at Anne and Commander Anne.
I know, sweetheart. We all know.
Girl, Amphibia was one heck of an adventure, one heck of a ride, right? I mean, our 4 primary cast members, Anne, Sprig, Pop, Holly, their main location of the series, their main location of the series has changed more times than, they've done so many events together. Their main location of residence in the series, minus the 4 episodes minus the 4 episodes after the first one, where they travel to Utopia, has changed more times than the main location of residence has changed around more times in 3 seasons than the 6 main characters of A Good Place in 4 seasons, which actually makes a lot of sense to me because Amphibia isn't also about the afterlife, and because Amphibia has 58 episodes in 3 seasons, whereas The Good Place had 52 episodes in 4 seasons. Yeah, it's, I guess I sort of thought that, I don't really know what the deal was with dating season. I sort of thought it went against its own method. Polly calls out Anne Choi for taking a silly teen romance magazine too seriously. But Anne turned out to be right in the case of Sprig and Ivy, because they naturally fell in love at the end of the episode. Without the setup. If Hop-Up really wanted to merge the family, wanted to marry and merge the family business because of the Saturdays and Sundays, all he really needed to do was marry Sylvia, which he did end up doing at the end of the series during the 10-year time they've been The Hardest Thing. Sprig and Ivy are still a close couple, but they're still too. But I can tell that at 20 years old, they're still too young and adventurous to settle down and be married yet. 21-year-olds. He has a fun pair of 21-year-olds. They're still too young and adventurous. I can tell Sprig and Ivy are still too young and adventurous to settle down and get married. It's pretty hilarious in hindsight that Anne Choi saw the Spry-Ivy ship title coming, the Spry-Ivy ship episode title coming back in Return to Wartwood. Okay, here's what I think happened in dating season. I think, okay, here's what I think happened in dating season. I think Sprig and Ivy, who were friends in the beginning, you know, I guess at first they sort of bonded over the reasons that they didn't like having planners and sundews and Anne try to set them up with one another. But I believe the real actual moment when Sprig and Ivy fell in love with each other and became more than just friends was when they were trying to rescue their families and Anne from those evil carnivorous love doves, and they were throwing sticks at them. And also because Sprig, Ivy also loved Sprig because he was quick to learn her ambush technique.
Nice ambush.
Well, I learned from the best.
Now let's finish this up. Oh, you just fell in love with her, didn't you?
Yeah, I just fell in love with her.
Yeah, that's how I believe Ivy and Sprig fell in love with each other at the end of dating season. And yeah, I guess Anne's Anne's weird Cat Bat magazine was also right about Sprig needing to ask Ivy out during their Frog of the Year party of the year. And it's actually kind of funny how it's pretty funny how many times Amphibia has made comes out of Anne rhyming fan, because we have Anne or Beast, Anne versus Wild, Anne of the Year, and Anne Hunter. Trying to help us. Home for Imaginary Friends has made a lot of episode title puns out of Blue rhyme with a lot of things, like such as Blue's the Boss and Goodbye to Blue. Hey, I did mention Power Girls and Fox Home for Imaginary Friends are both pretty big Kraken. Yeah, that's not why. I didn't mention both of them on purpose because of Great Big Kraken. Back. Of course, well, with that being said, for Sprig and Ivy is great now. That being said, Sprig and Ivy didn't really like each other as more than friends. Yeah, and Secret Cat magazine is also right up, and Sprig and Jessica, Ivy in their Frog of the Year party and Anne of the Year, and Sprig wasn't sure what to say at first, but then when Ivy gave him the courage to ask him first, Sprig said yes, and I'm really happy that Sprig and Ivy got their once this time went on. I mean, just look at them now and how they're doing this for Ivy.
Whoa, nice shot.
Now, if Sprig and Ivy didn't actually love each other as more than friends in dating season, all they really need to do is ask Sasha to bring them up, because she's a heart stomper.
I'm a heart stomper, stomping on hearts.
And you know what Sasha would say if she saw the planters and sundews in danger of being eaten by the birds.
If you wanna get away,